Hey guys, Spirit of the Law here. I've just a quick topic to cover in this one, focusing on a little quirk in AoE2, where being overzealous in your micromanagement might be making things harder on yourself than necessary. Maybe you've noticed if you force drop off from sheep as just a nervous tick or a bit of over micromanagement, especially around the 8th or 9th villager, you'll find you're essentially now committed to force dropping off for the next few villagers, adding more work for yourself in a situation that's totally avoidable and results from how a few different constants in the game line up. This happens most often with water buffalo, but can happen with sheep, etc. as well. So let's see what's going on and hopefully avoid this in your next game. First off though, a little math preamble. If we want a constantly producing town center, that's 50 food per villager every 25 seconds, which requires 120 food coming in every minute to sustain. Villagers with perfect efficiency under the town center happen to collect just under 20 food per minute. So with 6 villagers, we get almost 120 food per minute in a perfect situation. It's actually not technically fast enough to keep up with villagers forever, but remember you start with a buffer of some food. Now though, let's think about what happens when you force drop off. Immediately, all the food goes to the stockpile, and your villagers are back to holding 0. Though a problem can come up in that during the next 25 seconds, your villagers will not have gathered enough to drop off on their own yet. In 25 seconds, 6 shepherds gather 49 food, but between the 6 villagers, they should only be holding 8 each, or 8.25 food technically if we could see the decimals. They will have enough to drop off a collective 60 food in a few seconds, but there are situations where that can lead to idle time or having to force drop off again. Let's take a look at a quick example. Here I have a villager about to come out and another queued up. I have 30 food in the bank and mistakenly decide I'm just going to force drop off, maybe get another in the queue so I don't have to remember it later. I force drop off pretty quick, getting the 15 food the shepherds were apparently carrying, now up to 45 food in the stockpile. This might seem fine, and I need just 5 more food by the time the next villager comes out, and I have 25 seconds left until I need that. But here's the problem. Those villagers are going to take 30 seconds to hit their cap of 10 food and drop it off on their own. So fast forward 25 seconds when that villager comes out, and I don't have enough to queue up the next one, as I'm still at 45 food. Had I not force dropped off, I would have been fine here, as they would have hit their carry capacity and dropped it off on their own. At this point, they're all carrying 8 or so food though, so I need to again force drop off, suddenly jumping to over 100 food, showing how out of whack everything is, all because I intervened in the first place. Now eventually, once you bring in a boar, you hit a point where force dropping off is unavoidable, as villagers carry 35 meat from the boar, so you have to get involved at that point, and the cycle does break on its own, but can get you around 10 or 11 villagers especially, as shown in that example. Of course though, there are a few notable civilization exceptions, where this whole issue is either magnified or avoided altogether. Probably the best known is the Aztecs, with their +3 carry capacity. While that's great as a general eco bonus, and a farming one especially, this is not what you want with early game sheep at all, as your 6 villagers collectively carry 78 food before dropping off, meaning the timing can get pretty tight if you aren't doing that yourself, and makes the Aztec early game a little less beginner friendly. In contrast, the Britons go the other way. Their shepherds collect 25% faster, so players usually go 5 on sheep instead of the usual 6, actually coming out ahead in total food collected even when doing that. Even better, the villagers only take 24 seconds to collect 10 food from sheep, so you're very unlikely to run into this issue, partly because you'll have more food in total, but also because they're collectively dropping off on their own more frequently. Romans likewise have their 5% collection rate boost. And while it still takes more than 25 seconds to hit their capacity, like Britons, this is less of an issue. Lithuanians, of course, then avoid this altogether, while Chinese and Georgians starting with less food means force dropping off is basically unavoidable. While it's a good habit in every game, especially with those civs, you want to have your shepherds on a control group to make the inevitable force dropping off a bit smoother. The short summary for generic civs though is to try to avoid dropping off with herdables if you don't have to, and if you do, keep in mind you may have to pay attention and do it again before the next villager, as you reset the timer on when they'll do it automatically. Now while I haven't explicitly stated why, if you think about it, I bet you can figure out why this happens more with water buffalo than sheep, and I'll leave that as a little puzzle. That's all for this one though. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.